Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's mukbang, I have pizza and brownies. I'm so excited. I actually got a request to do brownies, so I made some super fudgy ganache brownies. I've made these before, not on my channel, and they are so good, so I'm so excited to have them today. And then I made a Bolognese pizza. I don't remember where I got the idea from, but I saw a Bolognese pizza somewhere and I really wanted to try it. Plus, I had this vegan Bolognese sauce that I got from Sprouts on clearance and I thought it would be perfect. So I made a Bolognese pizza, and this crust, this gorgeous crust, is my recipe. If you saw my last video, you guys, I released a cookbook and I'm so excited about it, and this pizza recipe is in that cookbook, so I will link where you can get the cookbook down below. Also, for today's video, I'm going to be talking about more 411 missing persons cases. I wasn't originally planning on doing another video on it, but you guys really wanted to see another one, so buckle up, buttercup. Just a little bit of a disclaimer, this video is for mature audiences. It contains adult content and I will be mentioning death and very sad stuff, so if you guys are sensitive, please click off or watch this video on mute, because I want you guys to take care of yourself. Also, I mean no harm to any of the families who are involved in these cases, and I mean no disrespect whatsoever, so yeah. But before I jump into the cases and talking about all of that, I'm going to start with the brownies because I am so excited. Oh my gosh, you guys. And yes, I know it's weird to eat brownies with a spoon, but these are so gooey. I need a spoon. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Okay. Best brownies ever. And they're super easy. Super minimal ingredients as well. I forgot to mention, to drink, I have this Tropical Punch by Olipop. I've had this brand before and I love their stuff, but I've never had Tropical Punch before, so I've never had their Tropical Punch before. That's good. It's not too sweet, and it's carbonated. I didn't think it was gonna be carbonated, but it is. But it's really good. So, the missing 411 cases, I talked about them in my Garrett Bardsley conspiracy theory video. And like I said, I wasn't originally planning on talking about them again, but I got so many requests to talk about them. But in that video, I explained what the 411 missing persons cases are, but I'll still give you a brief synopsis because, you know, it's good to have an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, you know what I'm saying? Essentially, missing 411 cases are specific missing persons cases that all maintain a similar pattern. For example, most disappearances occur in rural areas or national parks or reserves, and a lot of them are frequented to be near granite boulder fields or large bodies of water, or just bodies of water. Mental illness is not something that played a role in the disappearances, so it's not like these people who went missing were discontent with their lives and wanted to run away. Most victims were or are practiced outdoorsmen, so they knew what they were doing. It's very unlikely that they just got lost. Most victims commonly disappear in the mid to late afternoon time of day. There have been some cases, actually a lot of cases, where these victims have gone missing, or the search for these people have occurred around the same time as a weather incident. For example, a blizzard or a dust storm or something like that. Another recurrent factor is that trained canines can't sniff the scent of these missing persons, which is very rare, so it's extremely terrifying. Ugh. Also, if the victims are found after their bodies have been examined or they've done an autopsy on the body, typically a cause of death is unknown. And typically when the bodies are found, they will be missing items of clothing or shoes. And the really creepy thing about when they're missing their shoes, their feet are typically clean. So it's not like they took their shoes off and were walking around. It's just, it's so weird. I don't know. If I had answers, I wouldn't be talking about this right now. And I think to this day there are over 1,440 cases classified under the missing 411 denomination. That is insane. 1,440 cases that all have these weird aspects. I don't know. Really weird. A lot of these cases take place in geographical clusters. There are numerous hotspots located in the US. I think there have been a total of 34 hotspots located. One thing that particularly freaks me out is that a lot of these cases predominantly take place on distinctly marked popular hiking trails. One well-known hiking trail that engrosses a concentration of these disappearances is Yosemite National Park in California. And Yosemite cases, they date all the way back to the 1960s, starting in 1968, not with a disappearance, but with a really strange discovery of a man's body. It was found in a crevasse in Tenure Peak, and yes, I'm saying crevasse, not crevice. He wasn't found in a crevice, he was found in a crevasse. There's a difference. Crevice is like a small space or a small opening. Crevasse is like a deep split in the ground, or like a deep opening. You can look it up, there's a difference. So he was found in a crevasse in Tenure Peak, and his body was never identified. But the weirdest thing about this instance, the whole reason why I wanted to talk about it, was that they were never able to determine a cause of death. Like I had previously mentioned, they typically can't find causes of death, but this one, like, first of all, they can't identify him, then they can't identify a cause of death. He had no blunt force trauma or any broken bones, which might have alluded to a plummet to his death or something like that. And then in 1976, just 1 mile away from where the body that I just mentioned was found, 25-year-old Jeff Estes disappeared. Despite searches done by friends, family, and officials, nothing was ever found. These are literally the perfect brownie. Okay, before I continue, I'm going to try some of this pizza. And this recipe actually makes 2 pizzas, so there's another one downstairs. I'm gonna grab this guy. So the vegan cheese is just some vegan mozzarella, and I also added some vegan parmesan on top as well. That's the crust. Ugh. Okay. Oh my gosh. That is so good. I'm never using marinara on pizza again. It is always going to be Bolognese sauce. And this crust, so soft and so flavorful. So the next case that was also in Yosemite occurred in 1981. A 14-year-old girl named Stacy Araz, I think that's how you say it. She went missing when she was on a horse trip with several of her friends, including her dad. They had arrived at Sunrise High Sierra Camp in Yosemite National Park, and this is not far from 10-Year Peak, where the unknown body was found. So again, with the clustering. So I think they were taking a break because she cleaned up, and then she asked her father and another member of the group to accompany her on a walk, and they both declined. She proceeded to clarify that she was heading down to the lake where she would be taking some photographs. Now her father, he probably trusted that she would be okay because the lake was within earshot and they were in a belt of the camp where animals weren't known to hunt. Regardless, that would be the last time that Stacy was ever seen. And even ensuing an extensive, assiduous 9-day search comprised of over 100 people, helicopters, and sniffer dogs, nothing was found except the cap of her camera, and that was it. So these instances alone indicate that there is a geographical correspondence occurring. This doesn't even need vegan cheese, it's so good. So the Bolognese sauce that I used is the Sprouts brand. I need to go find what the regular price is because it's very good. Because I might just get it at its normal price. So now we're going to jump into the cases that thoroughly freak me out. Not that the other ones didn't, but these ones, they're just weird. The first really weird one is one that took place in late January of 2012. So kind of more recent, which is scary because these cases have been dating back years. Like, they've been going on forever, but there have been some that have just recently occurred. So it's really, really freaky. So this man His name is Ronald Kirk, and he was an ex-Marine. He was known to be outdoors a lot. He had an inclination to be outdoors. He was a runner, and he was just outside a lot. So he was hiking in the Red Rock Canyon Calico Basin when he went missing, and he supposedly knew this area very well. He had been there multiple times, and months after he disappeared, after a comprehensive search, his body was found near some well-constructed trails, less than 200 meters from Turtlehead Peak, which was a very popular trail that people would go on, and authorities describe his discovery as an optical anomaly. So his body, the color of his body homogenized with the color of the rocks, so he kind of blended in, but he wasn't incredibly hard to spot. Furthermore, searchers combed through that same exact area that his body was found in multiple times, and they didn't find anything. Can someone explain that to me? I don't understand. That's just crazy to me. And this same occurrence has surfaced in numerous other cases. For example, in 2014, a medical doctor by the name of James McRogan was in Vail, Colorado. I say Colorado or Colorado interchangeably, so I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. Colorado. He was in Vail, Colorado on a splitboarding trip when he went missing. So splitboarding is basically just a mixture of snowboarding and skiing. There's more to it, so if you want to know more, look it up, because this isn't a video about splitboarding, so yeah. But anyway, he was with a group of friends. He had his phone with him. He had a GPS, and he ended up getting ahead, but he said that he was going to wait for his friends at the next stop. However, they never saw him after that. And there were no tracks in the snow indicating where he may have ended up. And then 5 days later, his body was found by 2 hikers. His body was found in an area where he would have had to hike 14 miles, climbing up mountains to get there. Furthermore, search parties scoured that area several times before his body was found, and they didn't find anything. And then his body was disfigured, like almost pretzeled, and his skull was crushed, which some say as if he had fallen from the sky. He had on his whole suit and helmet, but had no boots on or gloves on. And if you're wondering, yes, both his phone and his GPS were both still working, and they even tested the area for cell reception. It was fine, yet he never called anyone, like if he needed help. So, I don't know. I'm telling you guys, these cases make no sense. So this next one, we're going to be jumping back to the year 1999. A 3-year-old boy named Jared Atadero, I think that's how you say it. He was hiking through a forest in the Comanche Wilderness, which is a national park in Colorado. Yet again, another disappearance in Colorado. And Jared wasn't alone. He was with a Christian group, and he ended up wandering off and sadly was never seen again. I can't even imagine. Like, 3 years old. And then in 2003, 4 years later, 2 hikers were hiking or climbing over 500 feet above the trail, where they found a child's tooth, a piece of a skull. They found Jared's clothes, which were unscathed. I mean, his jacket was unscathed, like it was untouched, but his pants were tattered and there was no blood, so there was no sign of an animal attack. But the pants were tattered, but it was discovered that the damage that had been done to the pants happened after they were off Jared's body. So it was like pests and scavengers picking at his pants. But not only that, his clothing, they were inside out. And they also found Jared's shoe, which looked brand new. Like, perfectly conserved for 4 years. And another thing, if it was an animal attack and he had been dragged up the mountain, there would have been some marks on his shoe or something. But no, his shoes look like he just walked out of a Nike shop. I don't know. They weren't Nikes, but the thing that's just mind-baffling or mind-boggling to me is the fact that the piece of his skull was found that high up, 500 feet above the trail. To get up that high, there were actually 2 experienced hikers who said it was difficult for them, let alone a 3-year-old child. And a kidnapping was ruled out because of the arduous location. Like, I just feel like it would just be so out of the way to do that, you know? And like I said, animal attack was ruled out because there was no blood. The next case actually transpired preceding the last case, and this one, you guys, is just so crazy to me. I just had to put it in here. So in the year 1977, Stephen Kubaki, I am sucking at names right now, I'm so sorry. He was 24 years old and he was skiing near Lake Michigan, and he decided to take a break, so he sat down at the edge of the lake to relax. Now, upon leaving, he discovered that his tracks were gone. So this resulted in his disorientation, and after some time of trying to find his way, he ended up blacking out, and that was the last thing that he remembered before waking up in a grassy field in spring. And if that wasn't weird enough, he was wearing clothes that did not belong to him. He was beside a backpack that had maps and shoes that didn't belong to him, and I think also a pair of glasses. I don't know, I've heard that it was just maps, I've heard that it was shoes and glasses, I've heard that it was all 3, so he had things that were not his, okay? So he found his way to the closest town, which he discovered was Pittsfield, Massachusetts. 700 miles from where he was skiing. Luckily, his aunt lived in Pittsfield, and his father also lived with his aunt, so he made his way there. And when he got there, they immediately embraced him, and they were shocked to see him, because then they soon told him that he had been missing for 14 months. Furthermore, he was well fed, he didn't have any injuries whatsoever, and he had no recollection of anything in the past 14 to 15 months. And he ended up getting his master's in linguistics and clinical psychology, so he wasn't stupid. It's not like he would just forget something like that, you know? It's just so weird. I don't know. So this last case I'm going to talk about actually is the most recent case that I'm going to talk about. There are more that I'm pretty sure are more recent, which is just terrifying, and I don't want to think about it, so we're not going to talk about it. But this case occurred in 2018. It was the month of February when a man by the name of Danny Philippidis was skiing in New York with a group of friends. After skiing for hours, at around 2 p.m., they decided that they wanted to go back to the lodge. Before leaving, Danny remarked that he wanted to go down the mountain one last time, do one more run. And I assume he was on his own, considering his friends hadn't heard from him since he left, and it was now 4 p.m. They texted and called him and even began searching for him, and there was no sign of him. This is crazy good, you guys. So eventually 130 people scavenged for Danny, or scavenged the mountain for Danny, but once again they could not find him. Ugh. And then 6 days later, Danny's wife got a call from an unknown number, and through the static she could kind of hear Danny. It was staticky, so she couldn't really tell, but he seemed muddled and disoriented, and then he hung up, and she was a little bit confused but also incredibly worried, so she called the number back, and it was Danny, and she told him, call 911, and so he did. And after describing the area he was in to the police, they eventually found him, and he said that he had no idea where he was. He was still wearing all of his ski paraphernalia, his ski gear. He was holding a brand new iPhone that wasn't his, and his hair had been cut. And he was at a airport terminal car rental depot in Sacramento, California, 3,000 miles from where he went missing. He was skiing in New York, went missing in New York, and then he ends up in California, across the country. He had no idea how he got there. He didn't even know what day it was, and when he was told where he was and how long he'd been missing, he became significantly distressed, as anyone should. I would have had a mental breakdown and probably died from a heart attack because I'd be so stressed out. Like, now many people have credited these cases to kidnappings, especially the last one that I just mentioned, but I really don't think a kidnapper would go through all of the trouble to kidnap someone or abduct someone from New York and somehow manage to transport them across the country without them knowing, mind you, and then give them a haircut and a new iPhone. I don't know. I'm just saying it doesn't sound very likely. I mean, personally, if I was a kidnapper, like, I would not do that. That just makes no sense to me. But then again, I'm not a kidnapper, so I don't understand the minds of kidnappers. Nor do I want to know their minds either, so I'm good. But I'm just saying, like, that does not sound like a kidnapping to me. It's a very weird one, if that's the case. Plus, they found him alive, so I don't know. And many people speculate that these could all be Bigfoot or other cryptids. A cryptid is basically an animal or creature that some people claim its existence, but it's never been proven to exist. So like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch. But as I mentioned in my Garrett Bardsley video, UFO sightings are also frequented visitors of several 411 hotspots, and sometimes even correlate with the times that people have gone missing as well. So however, there is another plausible cause or theory, and that is that the government is to blame. I honestly just try to find anything I can to blame the government, so. Okay guys, I'm sorry if the setup looks different. This video is so long, I'm so sorry. So I had to charge my battery, that's why it may look a little different, but yeah. Let's continue. So I mentioned previously that I believe that an extensive quantity of UFO sightings are credited to the government. And I have a whole video talking about it. It's my alien conspiracy theory video. Basically, I believe that the government has had plenty of time and means to create technology that has the potential to do more than we think. I don't know why they would use their technology on us in the way that they are. Maybe they're just testing it on us. Maybe it's a form of population control, or maybe they're trying to distract us from something bigger. Real aliens, maybe? I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think. These cases are crazy. I would have added more cases in here, but this video is long enough. And if I did that, if I did all the cases, there would be never-ending videos. So if you guys want to know more, you can do your own research. It's just crazy. So what do you guys think? I'm curious to know. I personally am terrified by these cases. So I don't want to go hiking anymore. But I really enjoyed this food. And I hope you guys enjoyed too. This is going to be my last bite. So I'm going to make it a good one. Alright guys, that is the end of this mukbang. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about these missing persons cases. Thank you guys so much for over 3,000 subscribers. That is just amazing to me. I love you all so much. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!